The night Port Harcourt held its breath was thick with diesel fumes and restless silence. Generator engines hummed like distant thunder, and rain drummed slowly on rusted zinc roofs, each drop echoing like a quiet warning. Under a flickering streetlight near Mile 3, a young man stood motionless, shoulders slumped, his shoes soaked, his spirit heavier than the small backpack hanging from his back. Somewhere in the shadows nearby, an old man coughed, a dry, painful cough that sounded like a life struggling not to disappear. In that fragile moment, two broken destinies were drifting toward each other, unaware that heaven was already watching. My brothers and sisters, if this opening is already stirring something in your heart, please hit the like button right now. Drop a comment, share this story with someone who needs hope today, and subscribe with the notification bell on so you never miss another powerful, life-changing story like this one. Port Harcourt is not a city that apologizes. It is loud, it is fast, it chews people and spits out the weak. By day, the roads choke with yellow buses, oil trucks roar past roadside traders, and hawkers risk their lives weaving between cars with pure water and bread. By night, the city reveals its scars. Men sleeping under bridges, women whispering prayers beside empty stalls, dreams curling up like wounded animals. Chinedu Okorie had learned this city the hard way. At 28, he already carried the weariness of a much older man. His father had died early, crushed by illness and debt. His mother, a tomato seller with hands permanently stained red, had raised him on faith, discipline, and kindness. When she passed, Chinedu buried her with borrowed money and a promise to God that he would make something meaningful out of his life. He tried. He studied business at a polytechnic, learned phone repairs, opened a tiny kiosk with borrowed capital. For a while, things worked. Then, one night, armed robbers invaded the area. They took everything: tools, phones, savings. The landlord came the next week and locked the shop. That was how Chinedu became a struggling entrepreneur, a title that sounded hopeful but tasted bitter. Every morning he woke before dawn in the single room he shared with two other men. The smell of sweat and damp cement greeted him daily. He knelt on the cold floor and prayed softly. God, I know they ask for luxury, just direction. Then he went out, walking long distances to save transport money, attending meetings where people smiled politely and said, "We'll get back to you." They never did. It was after one such day, rejection stacked upon rejection, that he noticed the old man. The old man sat close to the abandoned bus stop, shoulders hunched, clothes layered like armor against the night. Once those clothes might have been expensive. Now they were torn, faded, and soaked. A small nylon bag rested beside him. His walking stick lay across his knees. When lightning flashed, Chinedu caught a sharp, intelligent eyes behind the beard and grime. Most people passed without looking. Chinedu slowed. The old man coughed again, violently this time. "Papa, you dey okay?" The man looked up, startled, then studied him carefully. After a long pause, he laughed, a laugh dry with irony. "Young man, na God dey okay. Me, I just dey manage." Something tightened in Chinedu's chest. He checked his pocket. He had just enough money for transport and breakfast the next day. He hesitated, then turned back, bought hot akara and pop from a roadside woman, and returned. "Take," he said, crouching beside him. "It go warm your body." The old man stared at the food. His hands shook as he received it. "Why?" he asked quietly. "Why you help me?" Chinedu shrugged, forcing a smile. "Because tomorrow fit be me." That night, the rain softened, but something deeper shifted. The next evening, Chinedu passed the bus stop again. He stopped again. This became their ritual. Sometimes Chinedu brought food, sometimes just water. Sometimes he brought stories of his mother, of failed ideas, of dreams that refused to die. Baba Sadiq listened more than he spoke. When he did speak, his words carried weight. You no fail because you fall. You fail if you refuse to stand. Weeks passed, then months. People noticed. Guy, why you dey waste your time? One of Chinedu's roommates mocked. That old man go drag you down. Chinedu simply replied, My mama teach me say kindness no dey waste. Slowly, Baba Sadiq began asking questions, not casual ones. How much you need to break even? Why you choose that market? Who be your customer truly? Chinedu was shocked. These were questions no bank manager had ever asked him. One night, curiosity spilled out. Baba, how you sabi all this business things? The old man smiled faintly. Before street humbled me, life teach me well. But he said nothing more. Then came the collapse. Chinedu arrived one evening, finding Baba Sadiq shivering uncontrollably, breath shallow, lips pale. Panic surged. Without thinking, Chinedu flagged down a keke, argued fiercely with the driver, and paid double. Rain lashed them as they raced to the teaching hospital. Doctors moved fast. Pneumonia, severe malnutrition, complications of age. A nurse turned to Chinedu. Is he your father? Chinedu swallowed hard. Yes. It was the first time he said it out loud. That night, Chinedu slept on the hospital floor, his back against the wall, praying in whispers and tears. God, I beg, no collect this man. If you save him, I go serve you better. Baba Sadiq survived. When he woke, he saw Chinedu and broke down in tears. Why you do this? He asked weakly. Chinedu held his hand. Because somebody once do him for me, and I never forget. Recovery was slow. Chinedu visited every day, cleaned him, fed him, read psalms aloud. Nurses whispered about the young man who never missed a day. One afternoon, Baba Sadiq said quietly, When I leave here, I no fit go back to street. You go stay with me, Chinedu replied without hesitation. Chinedu's room was small. The landlord protested, neighbors gossiped, but Chinedu stood firm. Living together changed everything. Evenings turned into classrooms. Baba Sadiq taught discipline, structure, patience. He corrected Chinedu's mindset before correcting his plans. You want quick success, but lasting success, stay patient. One night, truth finally poured out. I was Alhaji Sadiq Bello, founder of Bello Integrated Logistics. Chinedu froze. I lost everything, Baba Sadiq continued. My wife died. My son disappeared after false charges sent me to prison. My partner stole my company. Shame chased me to the streets. Chinedu wept openly. Weeks later, destiny knocked. A black SUV stopped outside their compound. Men in suits stepped out. Is Alhaji Sadiq Bello here? Everything changed. His case was reopened. Evidence surfaced. His name cleared. Assets unfrozen. At a private meeting, Baba Sadiq handed Chinedu a file. Your company, he said. I invested quietly. You will lead it. Chinedu collapsed, sobbing. Baba, I no deserve this. Baba Sadiq lifted him. Kindness always comes home. Months passed. Chinedu's company grew. Contracts, staff, offices. He employed street boys, sponsored education, paid hospital bills. 1 year later, Baba Sadiq reunited with his long-lost granddaughter after a hospital DNA match. The corridor filled with cries, prayers, praise songs. 5 years on, Chinedu stood before his own headquarters, his wife beside him, children running freely. Port Harcourt roared as always, but in one corner, destiny had bowed, all because one tired young man stopped and asked, Papa, you dey okay? And kindness came home. My dear friends, what is your view about this story? Where are you watching from today? Drop it in the comments below. If this long journey touched your soul, please like, share with your family and friends, and subscribe for more epic stories that remind us kindness always, always comes home. Turn on that bell, and I'll see you in the next one.